What's going on, everybody? It's your boy, Reckless Rexx Ruger. We are back bringing off the couch boxing, the numero uno boxing podcast on planet Earth with the best conversations with legends, luminaries, champions, and rising stars. It goes down right here. And this is our, should I say, return. I was doing my alternate podcast, Pod Scum, with musicians and people in the arts and entertainment field. But we are back. Voice be damned. Nothing's changed, man. Still got the scratchy throat. Still going to muscle through. And still feeling like shit, man. But the show goes on. Of course, joined by the Alexis Arguello puppet. Always watching my back. A real champion right there, man. We're getting down to it, man. Feels good to be back talking about the sport that I love. And we are back with a great guest making a splash. A splash. We've been away for a minute, man, but we're back with a big splash, and our guest is here, so let's get down and chop it up. I'm excited, man. Good to be back. And there he is. Lucas. Good to see you, man.
Good to see you, brother. How you doing?
Yeah. How's everything been, man?
Good. Can't complain. How about you?
Are you getting fucking absolutely hammered with snow? I'm in upstate New York, man. I'm getting my ass kicked here.
I'm not in Canada right now. I'm actually in Vegas.
But show off. Okay, out in the warm environment.
Yeah, it could be warmer, but it's decent. Definitely better than back home.
And if I'm not asking you to divulge too much, what exactly are you at liberty to disclose why you are in Vegas? Is something going down?
Just training.
Oh, okay.
Just training out here right now.
First of all, I want to dispel. I want to get this out of the way because the last time I had you on, I was co-hosting with my son, who can't always make the episodes, family, obligations and whatnot. But the last time we did talk, we were excited because we thought, holy shit, man, you landed the knockout of the fucking year. So you did make the top 5 list in Ring Magazine, but Daniel Dubois knocking out AJ? Come on!
I know. It didn't even compare. But,
I think it was the magnitude of the fight and the names involved, man. You know what I mean? Like, had you put a knockout like that on a Keyshawn Davis or a Tank or a Shakur, you would have won, I think. Oh,
absolutely. It was also because, the Ring Magazine is now owned by Turki Al-Sheh, so
yeah.
That Dubois fight happened on one of his cards. Yep. So I think that had a big play in that. But I won the DAZN knockout of the year and many platforms other than the Ring Magazine.
Yeah, and I think the general consensus among the people are, from what I'm reading in comment sections on Instagram and everything, man, everybody was shouting out your name on there, man, and it wasn't even really all that fucking close, man. Another guy that I had on a couple weeks after you last appeared on here was Angelo Leo, another guy that had a great knockout, man, that was in the conversation, and his was pretty impressive because he knocked out Luis Alberto Lopez, who was, a revered champ.
Yeah, absolutely. That guy was upsetting everybody, and he from his previous fights, he was walking through everyone else's punches, and Angelo Leo just flattened him. So it was a big deal.
I got to ask you though, Lucas, man, because I'm always fascinated. Yeah, physical attributes in boxing are obviously paramount, man. But there's such a big aspect to the mental game, and I want to key in on some of those things. First of all, I want to ask, because I know Ray Boom Boom Mancini had a hard time back in the early '80s when his opponent ultimately went to the hospital and died. When you knock somebody out that brutal, I know it's the hurt game or whatever, man, but what goes through your head when you knock out a guy in that fashion, man? Like, is there genuine concern for that person, though? Or in the moment, are you just like, so charged up?
Yeah, I mean, definitely you want everyone to leave the ring healthy, right? So when you see him on the ground for, a long period of time like that, then you start to get concerned, right?
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. And so, but, and to elaborate on the mental aspect, like a little bit, man, because I think, and even young up and coming fighters, like I think everyone is so, blown away by somebody's physical skill set, man. But, speaking on behalf of like the emotional part of boxing, man, what techniques, or are there any that you specifically use, to kind of relax yourself? I imagine most people in a conflict, or in a fight, man, they tense up. It's very hard to stay loose. It's very hard, to keep your emotions and your fear in check or whatever, man. Do you do anything to deal with the mental side of boxing?
I don't really do anything. No, I was just born with it. Like you're right, man. It's hard. It's hard a lot of the times to stay composed, especially in the midst of a fight when things aren't going your way. But you just gotta remember not to get emotional in the ring, right?
Yeah.
And kind of just let everything, It's very hard to explain. It's very hard to explain. You know what I mean? Like,
well, I imagine there's a lot to harness there.
calm.
You know what I mean? Because you want to use that fear and you want to use that trepidation, and you must find a way to like harness it so it comes out the way you want it to.
Yeah, absolutely. It's you got to stay calm, and especially when you're under pressure, and that's the key.
Is it frustrating? We may have talked about this the first time you were on. I get baffled sometimes by the ranking system in boxing, where it seems like, and I'm sure it's no secret, there's a lot of politics involved in boxing. People can jump into big fights or jump into rankings. Yeah, is that something that you pay careful attention to, or does your management or somebody else kind of look at that? Do you get frustrated sometimes where when you might see somebody maybe less deserving on paper than you for bigger fights, and maybe they get them and you don't?
That's part of the game. That's part of the game. Like, of course, there's going to be politics and everything. But I let my management and my team take care of that. I just focus on what I have to focus on, and the only things I can control are worrying about myself and my training.
Well, I'm sure you probably had some type of a vested interest in, at the time of this recording. It is February 15th. So last night, Valentine's Day, we saw Keyshawn Davis strip Denis Berinchenko of his second title last night. You're in the 135-pound division. What was your assessment of that fight and of Keyshawn's performance?
Keyshawn completely shut him out. Yeah, Berinchenko had no answers to anything.
Yeah.
He looked like a much smaller guy in there, and yeah, Keyshawn did what he had to do. He was very smart, controlled his distance, and hit the body beautiful. I did rounds with Keyshawn not long ago, so I know what he's about, and yeah, he looked really good and got the job done. Got his first world title out of the way.
And obviously Keyshawn is also, man, I've had him on the podcast as well, and he's one of those guys who's certainly not going to pull any punches when it comes to his opinion or his own assessment of people. And obviously when you see him in the ring now, he's dropped Gervonta Tank Davis's name a few times already. Taking yourself out of the equation, because obviously as a fighter in the 135-pound division, you have to think of yourself as one of the big fish there too. But to decompartmentalize and take yourself out of it, man, where does Keyshawn rank in the 135-pound division? It is a very deep, talented fucking division.
He's the top dog. He's the top dog for sure. He's one of the best in the division right now. He's got enough power. He doesn't got crazy power or anything like that, but he's got enough power for you to respect him. He's got unbelievable accuracy, good timing, and good distance.
What about another interesting guy, man, who's making a lot of buzz, who also fought in the card last night and is in that division? What's your take on Abdullah Mason?
He's a great fighter, young up and coming talent. He's a great fighter, and they're building him properly. He's taking the right fights at the right time.
So I mentioned the rankings. IBF, Lucas, you're number 8. Right now, Lomachenko has that belt, man. And of course, this is obviously strictly your opinion, man. Is Lomachenko done? Do you think he fucking quietly creeps into retirement, or have we not seen the last of Loma, in your opinion?
I mean, look, the guy's still got it to compete with anyone at the top right now. He does, and it's kind of like, how does he want to finish his career? Does he want to finish it like what he's done already? Is I mean, the guy's accomplished so much in the professional ranks, and obviously the amateurs as well. But yeah, does he want to go out as the champion, or does he want to keep testing against the top guys? It's tough it's tough when you're in that position, especially when you get a lot of money, big money offers coming your way. So
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know what he's gonna do.
If you were advising him, and again, this is playing devil's advocate, man. Do you think he's accomplished enough where like he should walk away from the sport? I mean, he is knocking at the door, 40 years old. There's a lot. I just mentioned there's a lot of young lions in that 135-pound division. Is he maybe better suited going down in weight where he was a lot more effective?
Yeah, I mean, look at the 130, 126, 130 division. Like he was so dominant.
Crazy.
There wasn't
Yeah.
anyone that I don't even know if he lost more than a couple of rounds. But yeah, he definitely dominates way more at the lighter divisions. When the size advantage comes into play, it makes it a lot harder for him. And I mean, we've seen that a couple of times already.
Yeah. Now, some other big news, man. You've also signed promotionally wise with Jake Paul's company, MVP Promotions. Now, obviously, man, his fights, his events, a very polarizing topic. You get people on both sides of the fence that love these events, that hate these events, that think they're good for boxing, that think they're not so good for boxing. Where do you stand on these Jake Paul events that he puts on?
He brings people to the sport. I mean, look, before I signed with him, before I even thought I was even gonna get a chance to fight on one of his shows, I always tuned in when he was fighting. I did. It's entertainment, man. The guy's an entertainer, and he brings, a whole different set of eyeballs to the sport. So it's great for the sport, and it gives guys opportunity that they might never have gotten before, like just like me. Canadian fighter. It was a hard road to get out of Canada, and get that breakthrough fight, and on his platform, it gave me the opportunity to do that.
Yeah. I know it is big to land on one of his cards now.
Absolutely, it's massive.
It's massive. Yeah. I mean, first of all, man, a lot of eyeballs are going to see you, and you're right, man. It's one of those things where, like, even the most stringent of diehard boxing fans, purists, are going to say, I'm not for those. But then you fucking find yourself tuning in.
Yeah.
You can't help it.
Can't help but watch.
You can't help but watch. I know it's like rubbernecking when you're going by like a car accident. You got to look.
Yeah, it's true.
and so, excuse me, man, I'm getting over the flu. I got a touch of laryngitis here, man. So I guess we'll get to the part here now where, no, before I get to that, I want to say, being a pressure fighter and a guy that's kind of gotten a reputation for, I mean, let's face it, being, for lack of a better term, a knockout artist. Is there pressure? Because we do still see sometimes, and again, this is another criticism of me with boxing, bad scorecards, bad decisions. Do you feel that pressure? I mean, obviously, boxers will say they don't get paid for overtime. You'd like to go out there and make it the shortest night possible. But sometimes when you do see these travesty of boxing cards turned in, does it make you want to push more for the knockout, man? Or do you just got to go out and fight your fight, and if it happens, it happens?
Yeah, I mean, you don't necessarily want to look for the knockout, right? But at the end of the day, I train for the knockout. The goal is to knock these guys out. For one reason, not letting the judges take anything away from you, and two, it's to get the crowd excited, man. Got to give them what they want, and they want to see knockouts.
Right. And now you have a fight scheduled coming up in March, man. So what do we know about this guy? I did a little research on him. I see he's in that same ballpark as you as far as experience-wise in the pro level. A pretty good knockout ratio. So what is this fight, and what do we know about this opponent?
He's tough dude. On paper, he looks like he's a pretty strong, good puncher. And he's a southpaw. My first time fighting a southpaw as a professional. And we wanted to go that route because right now, most of the champions at 135 are southpaws. So we got to get ready. And this guy here is a good southpaw to fight. Is my first southpaw, and he's been training in Vegas. So I've heard some good things about him. We'll see what he's got March 7th.
And so that's an interesting point. So, like, when you realize that, hey, the 135-pound division is surrounded with a lot of left-handed champions, man, and just left-handed good fighters, man, do you purposely tell your team, go out and get me a southpaw?
Yeah. That was the goal. That's why we took this guy, because he was a southpaw.
Yeah. And so if you could put your promoter's hat on, in a perfect world, and you've got this fight already in the bag. You know what I mean? If you could have your next 3 dream fights at 135, man, and you could line these guys up, man, who would they be?
The next 3 dream fights?
Yeah. You know, if after your fight in March, if someone said you pick the next 3 guys at 135 pounds and you can have them.
You know what? It's I want one or 2 more fights, and then I want the champions.
Okay.
Yeah. So the fights in between don't really matter. And you know, the second or third fight, I want, you know, anyone from Gervonta Davis to Stevenson to Loma, if he's still there, or what's his name, Keyshawn.
Yeah. Is Shakur in the conversation?
Yeah. I thought I said his name, but if I didn't,
yeah, I wasn't sure. So what belt? So he has a belt though, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. Shakur's holding a piece of the 135.
Yeah, he's got the WBC belt.
Okay. And so you being ranked in the IBF and the WBA, that puts in your crosshairs. Obviously, I mentioned Loma, so the WBA would be Tank. Yeah. Okay. But how long do you see yourself staying at 135? I mean, do you feel like you will eventually get to the point where you will explore other weight divisions?
No, I think I'm a career 135.
Yeah.
You know, unless some big opportunities come up, going up or down, either way, 130, 140. Or you know, they're definitely in the options, but I think 135 I feel most comfortable for sure.
I kind of like that mentality because I think it's become like one of these things where, like, you know, guys think greatness is measured by, geez, I won belts in all these different weight classes. But then the old school throwback guys, you know, like a Marvelous Marvin Hagler would just fucking live at middleweight and just keep cleaning the division out all the time. You know what I mean? Like, you know, and there's something to be said for that being impressive too.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely.
And I feel like there's always going to be, I feel like the 135-pound division is always going to be, like, you know, constantly replenishing with talent. It seems to be one of those 135, 140, 147 just always seem like they're popping.
You're 100% right. It's always one of the best divisions in boxing. Always.
Yeah. And so I want to get your opinion here, man. Going completely away from your career. For you, the best boxing movie ever made. And you know what? I thought about this today at work. There have been a lot of boxing movies, man. Boxing has done well, no pun intended, at the box office. Boxing movies have been, you know, it's one of those sports that's really had a lot of movies made about it.
Absolutely. That's a good question.
I mean, Rocky's obviously the bailout answer, right? I mean, but
yeah.
I mean, you can't even call yourself a fucking red-blooded American or not American guy if you haven't seen fucking Rocky, for fuck's sake.
Yeah.
At least I don't think you can. But then again, I don't know if it's the best though, because some of those fight sequences, I love Sylvester Stallone, love what he's done for the sport, but some of them fight scenes were a little crazy. You're telling me they wouldn't have stopped that fight with Drago? Come on.
Yeah, I know, right? Sometimes unrealistic, but
a little unrealistic, yeah.
Probably that Southpaw movie. That was a good one.
That was good. Yeah, that was good. I like the one about Mickey Ward too. The Fighter was good.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, there's tons of good ones. So
and now so you're
a hard pick.
And now so you're training out in Vegas, but you're still a Canadian, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So what does that? So like when you go to Vegas to train, you come from Canada, you go to Vegas to train. Is it just one of those things where you say, I need to be here because this is where shit's popping. This is where I can get sparring. This is where I can get into, you know, good gyms and I can, you know what I mean? Like, you know, sharpen my skills.
Absolutely. It's like the boxing hub out here, right? Like you go to any gym and there's, you know, 4 or 5 world-class fighters in that gym, you know, around my weight. So it's the place to be, to get the good sparring and you know, it takes me away from everything, no distractions, and just kind of focus on my weight, my training, and that's it, right?
And where do you feel like, you know, do you feel like you're a couple fights away, or do you feel like a title fight could manifest in 2025, or is it more likely 2026?
Oh, definitely could happen in 2025.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm only a couple fights away, and I plan on staying busy this year, just like last year. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens.
Because, and again, this goes back to the rankings and being puzzled about some of the inner workings of boxing. Keyshawn last night gets a fight and gets a title shot in his 12th or 13th fight. I mean, you're 18 fights in, man. You're on that same trajectory in that same timeline. Is it frustrating, like when you look, because, and again, I love Keyshawn, had him on the podcast, man. But I wouldn't say his resume is necessarily more impressive than yours or more impressive than some of the other guys who are under 20 fights, at that stage of their career, man. Is that, again, part of the politics thing where you see a guy like Keyshawn getting pushed into a title fight and here you are with, at least 6 more fights, more knockouts? Yeah. You know what I mean? Do you ever look at it with a bitterness? You know what I mean? Like, I belong there.
I know I belong there, but I also get that it's part of the sport. Like this guy, I came up from the amateurs as a medalist, and his last fight was an eliminator. My next fight could be an eliminator as well, right? And that's what we're aiming for. So, like I said, 2 fights away, I'll be fighting for the titles. That's guaranteed.
Yeah, you have to be. Yeah, I mean, come on, man. For fuck's sake, man. You're fucking not only beating guys, you're knocking guys out, man. You know what I mean? Like, you're what I think boxing fans, especially casual fans who might not get the fights or might not understand, like, what a Shakur does or what a tactician does in the ring. You know what I mean? Like, you've got a very crowd-pleasing style, man. Like, you're what boxing fans, like, want to come out and pay their hard-earned money to see. You know what I mean? Like, somebody that's putting on exciting fights.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, at least I would, and I have an appreciation for what pure boxers do. I mean, there'll be those people out there that'll say, oh, Shakur is boring to fucking watch. I don't see what he's doing out there. To the untrained eye, man, you might not see what he's doing out there. Yeah. I mean, but there's a method to his madness.
Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate both sides of each style, right? Like you got the boxer and you got the puncher, and sometimes you got the guy in between, which I feel like I am. I'm a boxer that could punch. So
I was just gonna ask you, man. Like where you position yourself. I mean, because it can get tough when you get dumped on that label as being like a knockout artist, because then people are almost saying, I'm going to turn out to a Lucas BAHDI fight and I'm going to see a fucking knockout because this is all he does. You know what I mean? But so then anything less than that almost seems like lackluster.
Yeah, absolutely. They get that expectation, right? But
yeah,
that's good. That's good because you never want to take the eyeballs off the screen when I'm fighting.
That's true. And so correct me if I'm wrong, but this one coming up in March is your first fight of 2025.
Correct.
And so how many more would you like to have total in 2025? How many times would you like to fight in 2025?
I think at least 3.
Yeah, at least 3.
Yeah.
Okay. And do you have those dates kind of already planned out? Like you're gonna you're gonna get it on with this guy in March. So like I don't know if there's a set number or a set answer to this, but is there a correct number for you in your team and in your body? I mean, like how long you like between fights?
A couple months is fine. Like 3 months, 4 months is fine. That way I could at least rest a couple weeks after the fight and then get back into it, right? It's tough going from back to back camps, right? So it's nice to have at least, a couple weeks to yourself where you don't got to, really watch what you eat or you don't got to hit the road work every single day. So it's nice to get some time with the family, that's for sure.
Yeah, and I'm glad you brought that up, man, like about getting to eat what you want, man. So like if you're all done, the fight's in the books or whatever, and I may have asked you this last time, man, but I'm not really sure. It was kind of a newer question. Me and my son kind of started sliding in there towards the end of the last interviews that we did. But as soon as the fight's in the bag, the decisions, the outcome is already decided, man. What's the go-to meal right after a fight, man? Something you've deprived yourself of that you go to immediately.
You know what? Honestly, my diet's pretty clean all year round. It's just,
that's good.
I'm a meat eater. I kind of just sometimes I go overboard with the amounts, right? So I'll eat for 4 or 5 people.
Yeah.
When my portions shouldn't be like that crazy, but
yeah.
I mean, like I said, I'm a meat eater, whether it's chicken wings or steak or anything like that.
Chicken wings, though, somewhere along the line became very fucking expensive.
Yeah, I know.
It did. I mean,
I remember 10-cent wings.
I
10
remember
cent wings. Now they're
yeah,
like $2 wings. What the hell's
yeah.
going on?
I remember 10-cent wings. I also remember when just a standard large and 50 would be $20.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
now I don't know what the going rate is on a wing now, but I know that I had a craving for wings. It felt like the right thing to do on Super Bowl Sunday. So me and my wife, it's just the two of us here. So we got fucking 30 wings and a small pizza, almost $60.
Oh yeah. It's crazy. It's crazy what the prices have come to now, man. But it's also hard for those restaurants to make any money nowadays, just with the price of everything gone up so crazy, right?
It is. But you know what? I want to get back to because you are in Vegas training, man. But I would think, and maybe I've watched again too many Rocky montages where he's up in the fucking Siberia training and running through snow and all that shit. I would think though Canada would be an ideal place to really toughen a fucking guy up, man. It's very adverse conditions. It seems. I mean, I know you can get great work and get access to great stuff in Vegas or whatever, man. But I imagine though, like you getting to this point though, there was a lot of using the land around you and using Canada in general to shape who you are as a fighter.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I mean, look, if I had the sparring and like the proper sparring in Canada, I would stay there.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, I don't. But I think in the future, I'll be starting to bring guys in and house them and stuff like that in my town. So makes it easier for me. Get to sleep in my own bed and
Yeah.
you know bring guys in, and they have to kind of work on my schedule. Makes it much more easier.
You know what? It seems like, and again, I'm thinking about Abdullah Mason's performance last night. I mean, the kid is 20 years old. There's always new crops of fighters coming through the Golden Gloves, coming through the Olympics. You know what I mean? Like you're a guy, who's just entering like really the peak part of his fucking career right now, at least in my opinion, man. If there is a young fighter out there who gets access to this interview, man, you know what I mean? What would be your advice to them?
Surround yourself with the best.
Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. Learn off everybody.
Yeah. And so you feel like, if I'm reading into that, correct me if I'm wrong, but obviously surrounding yourself with a good team.
Yeah, yeah, and be around other great fighters.
Yeah.
Whether you got to travel to do that or whatever it is, right? Like I did a lot of traveling. I still do a lot of traveling. Different cities, different countries, just to get the best work, right? And see
Yeah.
the different styles and all that, right? I try to learn off everybody.
Yeah, makes sense. And so in 2025, I know there's a lot of fights already scheduled. We're already almost 2 months into the new year already, man. Have there been any fights that have happened yet in 2025 or are scheduled that you know of to happen that as a fan you're excited about?
I'm really excited to see Crawford and Canelo.
But is it going to happen though? Every other day I'm seeing on, off, on,
It's
off.
it's supposed to happen in September.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Turkey made that deal. So, another really good one. Even tonight, Catterall and Barboza is an unbelievable fight.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Which I imagine, that's a fight you would watch with a vested interest too, because 140 is not very far away from where you are right now, and that's another very lucrative division.
absolutely, absolutely.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I guess since you brought it up there, champ, I gotta ask then, man, because we'll see how well this dates now. Who will win tonight's fight? And by the way, I want to say I love Turkey Al Sheikh because I love these Saudi Arabian. Now I know tonight's card is not in Saudi Arabia; it's in England, which I also love because here in the Eastern Time Zone, the main event will be in about an hour and a half. So those guys will be fighting at about 5:30 p.m. Eastern time, man, because it'll be like 10 something, 11 something over in the UK. And when Turkey Al Sheikh puts them on, it's great. These main events are happening at like 5 o'clock in the afternoon. It's fucking great. Not having to stay up till I had to stay up last night till 12:15 in the morning and then get up to go to work today to watch Keyshawn do his thing.
I know, it's true. It is nice having them earlier. That's for sure.
But I can't let you off the hook. Is it Catterall or Barboza tonight?
I'm gonna say Catterall.
I said Catterall too. Yeah, I like Catterall.
It's gonna be a great fight, and it could go the other way as well. So any given night, anyone could win.
And for people tuning into tonight's fight, man, expect to see that battle of two tacticians. Like these are not knockout guys, man. Like these are high level, high IQ boxers.
Yeah. And you know what? Barboza deserved a big fight. So it's an eliminator, right? No, it's for the
It's for a belt, I think, isn't it?
interim
Yeah. Yeah.
interim title. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Now, do you
he
think
definitely deserved it. He paid his dues.
Now, what's your opinion of like when you say an interim belt? It has been bandied around a lot that there are too many alphabet organizations. I know Turkey Al Sheikh has talked about wanting to buy these federations out and put everything under one umbrella. Man, do you think there's too many people able to walk around and call themselves a champ at a certain weight?
Yes and no. Like it's got its positives and its negatives, right? Like if if you got one champion per weight, less people get an opportunity to fight for the title, right? Like,
And they got to
and the
wait longer.
champion,
Yeah,
yeah, and the champion, he can't fight 20 dudes in the matter of a couple of years. Like
yeah,
he can't, right? So it's tough, man. With one champion, it's like, is he really the best because he never fought this guy, or this guy,
right,
right?
right,
And
right.
he doesn't have enough time to do it in his career
And I think
because
people
there's
do get,
so
and I think
many
people,
top guys.
And I think people do get excited about unification bouts. So, you know what I mean? Like when guys are fighting, I got a belt, you got a belt, or someone's going to come out with both belts tonight. You know what I mean? There is an excitement to that.
Absolutely.
And I mean, I obviously, like when you're seeing the best fight the best, iron sharpens iron. You know what I mean? Like those are the kind of fights that you really, really love. You know what I mean? Like when, you know what I mean? There was nothing better than seeing Crawford and Spence fighting for all that fucking gold that night. You know what I mean? Like that's great. You know, that's exciting. You know what I mean? If those guys came in and there was one belt or no belts on the line, that still would have been a great fight between two talented guys, man. But the stakes wouldn't have been as up if not for all that gold.
Absolutely. Same thing with Better Be and Beevil.
Yeah.
Like just
Yeah.
unbelievable. The two top guys
Yeah.
fight.
We're going to rematch again next weekend on possibly the greatest fucking card ever assembled. I've never seen a card like that.
No, I don't think there's ever been a card like that ever. So that's going to be a great fucking show to watch as a fan.
And now, do you like Turkey Al Sheikh fucking really kind of shoehorning his way into the boxing world, man? Because he's another guy like Jake Paul who's a polarizing figure. I love the fact that the fights get made fucking early on a school night. That's good for me or whatever, man. But him taking over boxing, a good thing or a bad thing?
It's like everything. It has its positives and its negatives. I mean, he obviously ups the purses in like massive amounts, but
Yeah.
it could also do negative things to the market. So it's it's tough to say whether it's going to be good or bad, and I think we're going to find out in the next year or so whether it's good or bad.
What's the game plan though? Like hypothetically, if you're going to Riyadh season and you're on one of those cards, obviously that's a great distance to travel going over to Saudi Arabia. Does it behoove you to get over there very, very early and kind of wear off that jet lag and get used to the time change, man? Like if you were on a Riyadh season card, how soon before the fight would you be in Saudi Arabia? A week?
I'd like to be there at least 10 days before.
Yeah. Adjustments and stuff to the time, to the environment.
For sure, it makes a big difference.
Yeah, I would think it would be too. That's a long ways to go for a fight. I mean, I don't know how long that is by plane, man. But then you see all these people flying in, celebrities and other fighters, man. People seem to love to go there, though.
Yeah, it is pretty crazy. He just flies everyone in for free. All these celebrities.
Yeah. So that's the game. So that's got to be like a nice move, man. Right? Like if you get a chance to fight on one of those Saudi Arabia Turkey Al Sheikh cards, man, you jump at a chance like that, right?
Yeah, it's a great experience. Obviously, you're getting paid well, so it's for sure it'd be great.
So I know what people are expecting you to say, man, but it is a boxing show. You are a nice, polite, humble guy, man, but I know there's a dog inside there somewhere, man. How does this fight end on fucking March, man? If you could tell your opponent right now, if he was watching this, man, how does March, what's the date? March 1st, March 7th?
March 7th.
March 7th, man. Yeah. If you were talking directly to your opponent, man, what do you tell him to expect that night?
Oh, I mean, look, he's getting paid to take a power nap in the middle of the ring, so it should be
That's what I like
easy
to hear,
money
Lucas.
for me and him.
Yeah,
now,
a power nap.
He's a good fighter, but like I said, man, I train to knock people out.
Yeah.
I ain't going in there to win a decision.
He can go as Ashton Silve, who may or may not still be asleep. I don't know, man. The guy still could be napping right now. I'm not really sure, man.
Definitely a good possibility.
There's a good possibility he's asleep, man. Hey, so I got to catch you up to speed. For years, I've done 2 podcasts. I do one where I have people from music and the arts and entertainment industry, and then I do the boxing one. I think I'm finally done with the fucking arts and entertainment, man. I'm back to the boxing one, and it feels good. And you're my first guest back.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah.
I'm honored.
I took down the backdrop of the skulls and the crazy shit, man. The boxing ring is back up, man. And you know what? I'll tell you, man, I love interviewing musicians and having guys in hard rock and heavy metal bands on here, man. But one thing I do love about the boxing world, man, they really open up the community and really let you in, man. I mean, I still go back and I look through the 160 previous episodes of Off the Couch Boxing. I can't believe the fucking people that have agreed to come on our little podcast. It's fucking crazy. All the way from Keyshawn Davis to James Toney to, I mean, like we had some amazing fucking guests on, man. So the boxing community is the fucking best, man. I know you guys get a reputation as being tough guys, you know what I mean? Like, kind of, walking around with attitudes and chips. But that's all the sell fights though, man. You know what I mean? But the boxing community is fucking second to none.
Absolutely, man. You meet some really great people.
Amazing. So I got to ask before I let you go, man. Will we ever see you on the grounds of the Boxing Hall of Fame in Canastota, New York, man? Obviously, the fans are there. You know what I mean? Like anybody can drop in, man. You're a very fan-friendly guy, man. You know what I mean? Have you visited there first at all?
I haven't.
We got to get you there this June, man. I mean, it's always so. I know Tim Bradley's getting inducted this year. Carl Froch. I can't remember everybody that's getting inducted, man. But they always have a Friday night fight card at the nearby casino. And it's just a fun weekend, man. You know what I mean? Of meeting a lot of great fucking fans. And even if you're not getting inducted, people just show up. Paulie Malignaggi will be signing autographs. Or you'll see like Sean Porter. You know what I mean? Guys just walking around just hobnobbing with other folks. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like a convention, right? So that's great, man. Yeah, I might have to come through this summer.
Yeah, get there, man. Yeah, get there, and we'll do an interview in person, man.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Hey, listen, man, it's an honor, man. You've been on before, man. This is special to me, man. Like I said, the first episode back, man. I love what you do, man. I'm a huge fan, man. And just lost your fucking camera there.
There we go. Hold on.
But
there we go.
Listen, I want to wish you the best of luck March 7th, man. I know this guy's in fucking trouble, man. I just love watching the trajectory of your career, man. And I can't wait to see the big things that are going to happen, man.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate your support. And
always,
man. I appreciate you having me.
Yeah, I appreciate you, man. Get back to train. Go do some training, will you? We got a guy to knock out in a couple weeks here.
Absolutely.
You're wasting time talking to me.
But sometimes rest is most important. So
you're telling me, man. Don't I know it, man? I'm gonna go out and shovel my sidewalk, and then I'm gonna go take a fucking rest. I got Cobra Kai episodes to catch up on. But hey, listen, always great talking to you, my friend, man. I wish you a lot of luck, man. I'll be watching in March, man.
Pleasure. Thank you so much, brother.
Yeah. Thanks, Lucas. Good talking to you, man. We'll talk again soon.
Okay, bro. Take care.
All right, later. There he goes, folks. And I am happy to have him be my first guest back, man. Lucas Prince BAHDI, who, in my opinion, should have got knockout of the year for 2024. If you don't know, go back and watch his fight. He fought a couple times in 2024, but you're looking for the Ashton Silve fight, who allegedly this guy might still be sleeping. He got knocked out in a big way, a brutal fucking KO, man. No disrespect to the other candidates, but I mean, Daniel Dubois knocking out Anthony Joshua. Those are two big heavyweights, man. You're expecting big punches, man. What Lucas BAHDI did to Ashton Silve was a complete violation, felony assault, if you will. If he's not wearing boxing gloves, Lucas BAHDI is talking to me from the other side of a fucking glass partition behind fucking bars, man. This guy can fucking hit with the best of them. 18-0, 15 knockouts. I have no doubt that he'll be adding another one March 7th against his opponent, whose name I probably won't be able to say, but I know I have it here somewhere. Ryan James Racaza. Well, all I can say is, man, It was nice knowing you, sir, man, but you probably are going to get you definitely are going to get knocked out. I got to have more confidence. I can't be throwing the word probably in there, man. Utmost confidence in my boy, Lucas Prince BAHDI. He will get the job done, man. And he's certainly a friend of the fucking podcast, man. We've had him on before, man. Great guest, great insights, just a fun guy to talk to, man. So great having him be the first inaugural guest as we come back here to Off the Couch Boxing. And it's good to be back. As usual, the Alexis Arguello puppet didn't say a fucking word, didn't contribute a thing. But if you guys are out there expecting him to, hey, he is a fucking puppet, for God's sakes. But he does the most important thing, watches my back. And he keeps a good eye on the ring back there, too. I'm babbling. This is probably why I have no fucking voice right now. Too much of this. I need more of this. But I'm not going to listen, I also have to get content. I am a podcaster here. So the show must go on. We all know there's no crying in podcasting. We've seen it all happen here. Technical difficulties, anything that can go wrong has gone wrong, and we've soldiered on. And this is no different. So thank you. Huge thank you. A ton of gratitude for the great Lucas Prince BAHDI. Be watching him on March 7th as he knocks out another opponent, which will run his record to 19-0, 16 knockouts. That's right. I've already cemented that as his new record, man. No pressure. But he is going to get a win. He is going to get a knockout win, man. Of that, I have no doubt. And he's a great guy and a great guest. And hope you guys enjoyed that episode, man. Feels good to be back doing Off the Couch Boxing, man. Expect a lot of great fucking content like we've always given you, man. Expect fucking great interviews. I'm already fucking lining them up as far as the eye can see, man. You're not going to find better boxing content anywhere on planet Earth than right here on Off the Couch Boxing, man. So until next time, man, I don't have a fucking catchphrase. That's what I don't have right now. I don't have a catchphrase. But we used to use the catchphrase of, well, how did my son used to end? Oh, now I remember. See, I haven't done this so long, man. But let me remind you, first of all, I'm getting way ahead of myself and getting discombobulated. I am getting over the flu, folks. I might be rambling a little bit, but first and foremost, make sure to follow and like Off the Couch Boxing on Facebook. That's where you'll get your updates of new episodes and who will be on said episodes. And if you're on the channel right now, watching us right now, congratulations, you're in the right place. Like, subscribe, smash that notification bell to stay tapped in. This is where you need to be, folks. And I will remind you guys that if you want to be a champion, you got to roll with the champs.